These are the 10 no-nonsense ways for you to increase your salary. Well, a lot of us go to the work for job satisfaction, but even more importantly, that we get good salary. But we do not even know how to optimize on our salary beyond the 10%, 20% hike that we would get during the appraisal cycles if we are lucky. In this video, I'll talk about ways without stressing you. I don't want to stress you that, hey, do all of these things. Pick out the 2 or 3 things that are applicable for you, work out with your network, with your friends, with your colleagues, and collaboratively grow together, because in the corporate world, it is not about competition, but about collaboration. And the first way is about building your own niche. Yes, jack of all trades are not paid as much as masters of one single trade in the corporate world. In my case, I was known as an analytics guy in the first few years of my career. What are you known as? If somebody looks at your resume, they should be able to assign a profile to you immediately. What is that one skill set that they can take from your resume? It should not confuse people. Build that one particular niche as much as possible. Even it could be software or analytics or whatever, and even within software, it has to be even more specific, like Java or AWS or AEM or anything. Now you might come back to me and say, hey Pavan, but I'm working in a niche field which is not growing. I do not see any growth opportunities in this particular field. So what do I do? That brings us to the second way to increase your salary. That is, build a niche in the area which is currently growing. It could be artificial intelligence, it could be sustainability, it could be electric vehicles, it could be semiconductors, or number 5, it could be mental health. Any of these 5 areas are growing. If you are not from this space, see how you can reorient your profile into one of these things, because there are very few people who know these topics, and there are a lot of requirements for people who know these topics. The other way is not just building a niche in these topics. Once you build a niche, you should also look for what is that secondary skill set that you can add. You cannot build a secondary skill set even before building a niche. Build a niche first and then jump into that secondary skill set. If you are a Java developer, learn about AEM, Adobe Experience Manager as well. If you are a front-end, back-end guy, learn about AWS as well. If you are an analytics consultant, see if you can build that additional layer of marketing analytics or supply chain analytics or fintech analytics. Whatever it is, your primary skill, see if you can develop only one more adjacent skill. You need to have that primary plus secondary skill combination once you have that 4 years, 5 years experience in your resume. And that becomes the key, because people don't have that combination skill sets. First of all, it is difficult to find somebody who has expertise in one niche, and becomes even more difficult for companies to find people who have these combination skill sets. The third thing that I would propose for you to increase your not salary but overall income is going and building that secondary income stream. It could be moonlighting based on your skill set. Well, company CEOs, companies say, hey, moonlighting is banned, you should not do that. But go check out your company CEO's overall LinkedIn profile. Your company CEO might be also a board member somewhere else. Why are they doing it? Why are they maintaining a personal brand on social media? Because what they preach is something different from what they do. You need to make sure you have secondary income as well. Whether it could be through your coding skills or social media or through your writing skills, anything doesn't really matter, but that decreases the pressure on your primary income source so that you can take more risks with your primary career. And the more the risks, the potential rewards are always higher. Now, just to re-emphasize on this point, building a secondary income stream is not easy at all. If you are working from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. in your corporate job, where do you get that time for the secondary income stream? You need to collaborate with your colleagues or with your close friends to see what can you do together. This corporate world is not about competition. Who gets the first rank? It is about collaboration. Two people together can get the first rank. That's the beauty of this world. So please collaborate with your friends, discuss over what ways works for each one of you, and see if there are any overlaps. Try to build stuff together. The fourth way to increase your salary is never ever stick to the same company. Well, I don't mean to say switch companies every 6 months, but neither we are in our parents' generation where they used to stick to the same job for 30-40 years. No, we are not in those times. Companies are not loyal. Amazon, Google, Facebook, all these big companies, even with high valuations, have laid off employees saying that, hey, we need profits. They prefer profits over people. Similarly, you need to make sure that you prioritize your personal growth beyond anything else. People come take salaries and they leave. Companies don't care, but you are the only one looking after your career, my friend. So please prioritize your growth. Don't stress about it, but plan for it. The fifth way in which you can increase your salary is continuously pushing for that exceeding the expectations ratings in your appraisals. What does exceeding the expectations mean? It is not about, if you are a coder, just going ahead and coding or coming up with quality code. Can you help the organization itself grow? Can you help the organization improve on its processes? Can you help your colleagues get better at something? Exceeding the expectations typically is a very tricky rating to achieve. And for that, you need to go talk to your manager, your senior manager, and ask them point blank a simple question. What should I do exactly to get this exceed the expectations rating? As simple as that. Once you know what to do, you can go ahead and do that continuously. Only if you do that, your salary would consistently grow by 30%, 40%, and over a period of 5 to 10 years, that would be a lot. If you are sticking to a 5%, 10% growth numbers, your salary over a 10-year period would not see a big jump. Understand that fact. The sixth way to increase your salary is to jump into sales. Yes, even if you are a coder, you need to understand why your company is able to sell a particular product, why a particular client is coming and taking your services. Sales is the ultimate function based on which organizations run. Simple, because organizations need revenues. Even if you build great products, if there is no salesperson, would the company exist? No, it does not. For a CEO, for a CFO, for all the top leadership, sales is the metric based on which they are compensated. So they would never ever let go of a superstar sales performer. Well, I'm not saying that the salespeople are immune to layoffs, but they are the last ones to be ever touched during layoffs. The first ones could be the research team, the HR team, or the internal teams which do not contribute to the revenues directly. Then your client delivery teams, service teams, product teams, because they will say, hey, the product is already developed. We will postpone all the enhancements to a later date. But they take a very high risk if they touch a salesperson because revenues would be impacted directly. Think about it. It's not only layoff proof job, but that would be one of the functions which will give you that ticket to high salary and quick growth in the corporate world. And also not many people prefer sales job because there are a lot of failures that you need to face as a salesperson. So think about it twice and see if you have any inclination towards sales job, you should at least give it a shot. The seventh way for you to increase your salary is improving on your executive communication. Senior leaders need to hear you. They need to hear your voice consistently so that they remember you and they talk about you during that appraisal systems. And they remember you and they hear your voice if you are very clear with your communication. There are multiple ways in which you can improve your communication, both written and also verbal communication. In this video, I'm giving you 5 ways in which you can improve your communication, but do not ignore that. The first step, people do not even believe that, hey, improving communication can increase your salary. A lot of people with 15 to 20 years of experience join the courses that I personally run with a single objective to improve their executive communication because they say that we have hit that glass ceiling and we are not able to grow further. I wish they would have come to me probably 5 or 10 years back. Don't make that mistake. Get started, understand the importance of communication and continue to improve on it. It is a never-ending journey, but it will take you to greater heights. The 8th way to increase your salary is nothing related to what you do at work, but how you manage your overall income. If you have any kind of financial commitments, it becomes a liability for you. You do not have so much flexibility. Well, If you have some family or personal commitments with respect to your finances, none of us can avoid that. We all come from middle class backgrounds. We cannot avoid some of these financial commitments that we have. But don't get into these unnecessary EMIs at this point in time, because once you have that commitment, a lot of flexibility goes down in your career. And if flexibility goes down, you cannot take that risk. And risks usually give you that higher reward. So you yourself are getting into that vicious loop. Avoid that loop and stay free. It will also give you a lot of mental balance and mental peace. Do not ignore that. The ninth way to increase your salary is to actually just go and ask for the salary you deserve. Whenever you have that appraisal discussion and the company says that, hey, we are giving you a 10%, 20% increase, you should go ahead and negotiate with your manager or your manager's manager that, hey, I deserve more. Can I get that additional 20% hike? Unless you go and ask for more salary, nobody is going to give you that salary. People will ask you to work for 70 hours per week. Well, they'll pay you only for 40 hours per week. So you need to ask for more salary when you are committing more hours. And the more important thing that you need to remember in the corporate world is prioritize your own growth over company's growth. And your own growth in this scenario means increase in your salary. The 10th way to increase your salary is prioritize learning. Well, this is a common thread that was running across multiple themes that we talked about, but I want to call it out explicitly because the day you stop learning, the day your career will start to go down, because there are a pack of young adults who are constantly behind, who are learning and upgrading. Also, look at the folks who have 5 years, 6 years, 7 years age right now. They will come into the corporate world in 15 years time. They will carry a much more relevant skill set in 15 years when they enter into the corporate world. And don't we become obsolete at that point in time? For that not to happen, we need to focus consistently and learn. We need to be updated with all the skill sets that are relevant in the industry today. Again, this is one of the most important things which is running across all the themes, and make sure that you learn every single day. To end the video, I want to say once again that, hey, this is not about increasing stress for you. Hey, go ahead and increase your salary consistently. But if there are ways for you to optimize your salary growth, you should not leave that on the table. Thank you so much, guys. Please do let me know if there is something that I missed out in the video, and I will be happy to make another video around the same. See you again. Take care. Bye-bye.